What's up guys, Daniel Byer. Today I want to cover concepts for solving the 4x4. So the first thing that I want to transition to is, and look for during my inspection, is solving the first two blocks. And what that normally results in is several sub-steps, right centers, left centers, committing to the first block of a 1x3x4 on the left side, and then finishing up the second block of a 1x3x4 block on the right side. I'm gonna actually wind up doing a yellow centers for the right block, and so simply building my half bar, pairing it up, building another half bar of white, inserting it, doing my last rotation. And what I wind up doing is, as I'm doing this, I line these two up, half bars, done. And so now, based upon the quick scan of the cube, it looks like staying with a first block of white is actually a decent enough move. I build a 1x3x3 bar and just transition to finishing up this last pair. I was able to connect the corner edge pair here, and then let's go back 2 moves. I was able to do an F and connect the 1x3 bar, inserting it. So I don't necessarily like this approach, but I already was able to add one piece, and I'm going to add another piece. So basically the 1x3x3 was missing 2 wings. I put them in, and then just finish up the last pair. Got them on the R and L slice. I added the corner edge pair, and I'm going to do a triple RU, triple R prime to add that 1x3. Next, committing to the next 2 centers. I've got a half bar of blue and another half bar of blue. Line them up on the L slice and the R slice. Do an R2. I know that if I'm going to have a blue back, I want an orange D. So I see that I have only one at the orange on the D. So I want to, first thing is build a half bar, make sure it's on either the R or the L slice. I know that it's on the R slice in this case, so I'm going to build another half bar. Line those 2 up at on the R slice on the D and on the U. L2, U2, L2. Done and done. So looking around for different options or solutions, and the first thing that I notice is right here, this pair. There's a couple different options that I can do to solve it. The first thing that I would probably do, just because, and this is actually going to wind up working out quite well for me, I'm going to pair this pair up. So I'm going to do R, U prime, R prime. And that's slice R, which will drop the yellow edge down, U prime, and so that way when I do my slice R prime, it restores it. It actually happened to simultaneously solve this edge pair. Let's see why. Notice that this white orange pair are in a good orientation relative to one another. So when I do my U R prime U, this slices down and solves as well. The third thing that I noticed, which I was looking at, I noticed that when I did my R, it actually will, basically this piece will toss up and over. This piece will swing over and drop down. And kind of that relationship, that what winds up happening is stays a good edge and this edge gets flipped. It's kind of like EO, like an R or an M prime U, M prime kind of move, how it flips the edges, or M prime U, M, right? But I'm doing it with slice moves rather than on a 4x4 rather than full slice like M prime. It's an R and U prime, R prime. So I'm lucky that already 2 pieces are solved. So then I know that I stored this blue orange piece at the DF slot, and I knew that this would also flip, so that way they're in equal orientation relative to one another. So what I'm going to wind up doing is basically making this transition, so that way the next thing I'm going to do is pair down, or pair up in the UB slot. So I'm going to do R, U2, R prime. So that brought this blue-orange pair I was just talking about, and it is now solved. So now I have 3 solved pair, and I have a bad relationship of QBs here, because this pair of orange green are bad, but that's fine, because all I'm going to wind up doing is M, U, M prime, or excuse me, M, U, M. I lined up the other 2, so we have this good relationship. And so what I mean by a good relationship, I have a solved piece, I have 2 solved pieces in the bottom, so I'm really down to 3 pairs that need to be swapped around. And basically, if you line up the first pair, the other 2 and the other 2 pair aren't solved. They fall in line to 4 possible cases. Those 4 cases are really fast. They're all mirrors and inverses of one another. So I always like to recognize from the UL, because it just kind of my triggers and my mnemonic for recognizing the pattern. I want to recognize triangles. I'm looking for a pair either here or here, here or here. And I see the pair here, so because I already know I have a pair here of the blue-red and blue-red, and I can do either an R move to pair up at the UV slot, or an L move to pair up at the UF slot. I know that when I do I see this pair matches, so I know that I'm going to do an R move, because the pair is about the URB corner. I'm going to do an R move, and because it's close on my right side, I'm going to do, and also it's a small triangle of the match. 1 pace from the URB corner and 1 pace from the URB corner for the other match. So I know I'm going to do an RU, R prime U, R U2, R prime trigger. Now the other thing is, just want to clarify, is that was wide R, U, R prime U, R U2, wide R prime. So the basically is assumed with a wide R to start and a wide R prime to finish, and just mirror and inverse that for the other 3 cases of the 4. So I've got a 2-0/2 case. That means I have 4 bad edges. That means I do not have odd parity, which is great, because I can transition straight into CMLL. I transition into CMLL anyway, but I'm already recognizing that. So do my 4A step. Once I did CMLL 4A, I've lined up my UL and UR slots at the DF and DB, so that way I just AUF, pair up, look, and I've got odd parity. So I'm going to come in with, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually wind up, rather than solving I'm going to kind of blend this 4C step and also fixing centers. So I see that I can fix centers there very quickly. And I'm going to actually have these 2 pairs swapped, so that way I can do R2, U2, R2, wide U2, R2, wide U2. Recognize my case, and finish up the 4C step. So, hope that helped, and that was another smooth solve, no odd parities, so nothing to worry about there. But let's take this time to cover how I handle odd parities. So when I see my odd parity, normally next to, or the last 2 centers are already still not solved. So they've not been solved yet, so I don't have a problem with messing them up, as long as I don't mess them up more than they already are, you know. So basically I'm going to do a faster finger trick algorithm to influence the last 2 centers without making them worse. And you know, and if making them worse, or if they were already solved, all 4 were already solved, and I happen to have odd parity, I would do the R Bulu parity solution. But for this case, I'm going to do there's two ways that I can do this. I can do either a right-handed or a left-handed version. I want to do the right-handed version. Feel it's faster. Normally it is. So I'm going to do R2, U2, R prime, U2, R, U2, L prime, U2, R, U2, R prime, U2, L2, M. What that does is it actually flips this edge pair, swaps these two half bars, and it's good to know that it is actually this half bar going there and that half bar going there. So you can know that it's not like a 3 cycle of half bars like a commutator would be. So good to know, so that way if you're trying to figure out which side you want to apply that, I'm going to restore that, and I'll do the left-handed version. And you see that the left-handed version flips the UF edge pair and swaps these two. So again, it's L2, U2, L, U2, L prime, U2, R, U2, L prime, U2, L, U2. And I remember that because I was the left-handed version, I finished with an R2, M prime. If it was a right-handed version, I would finish with an L2, M prime. Basically, I reorganized the algorithm so that way you're always finishing with a double slice turn M prime flick to resource centers. The other nice thing is that you only want to apply that to the UF centers that were unsolved during the next two centers or the first two blocks. So basically, you're only going to mess up the last two centers which aren't solved yet. So ideally, your parity cases are going to realistically leave you with a case like this. So simply put, you just line it up. Whether you have parity or not, this is realistically a case, or the case might be here, one of the centers. You have 3 centers solved on both U and F. You basically just line it up and then do the appropriate AUF to solve, finish up the cube. So really you would do those moves anyway in like a Yao method, but with this you're doing it a little bit later to make everything else much more streamlined and efficient. And yeah, it might be a commutator at the end, but it's a fast commutator. There's look ahead, there's planning, there's influence. You can actually last 2 center skip and normally stay at like a 9 move algorithm to finish up last 2 centers. And for the other sake is that because you're able to do it at a point that you can also not do double parity. Basically, you're able to look at the case and execute the right algorithm to fix both simultaneously. So this lets you save moves and also save move count by not having to execute more algorithms than you need or have more moves per algorithm to solve the cube. So it all works out very well.